All right, Speaker BJ Cruz, now Public Auditor Cruz. First week in office, what have you found?
Well, I knew as the former chairman of appropriations that the public auditor's office was in fiscal straits. And the public auditor, Doris, had come to the legislature and asked for a $400,000 increase to the budget. That was a 30% increase. That $400,000 increase was not granted. In fact, the legislature had to reduce the budget of the office by $100,000, about $120,000. So the total budget for the office is $1.2 million. Personnel cost alone for the office is 1.3. That doesn't even include the rent and other fixed costs. If I were to allow the office to just continue to operate as it were, I could very well easily run an additional $500,000 over the budget that's been given to me by the legislature. Rather than do that, I made the decision that the Office of Public Accountability would lead by example. With a new fiscal year coming up, we would implement our own fiscal realignment plan. And as a consequence, I have given notice to 2 probationary employees and 3 unclassified employees that their services will no longer be needed, and that I would hope that as the consummate professionals that they are, that they would stay on with me for a few more weeks, transition their files over to other members of the staff that are staying, and then vacate the office.
A layoff here.
Yes.
And this is 5 of about how many employees here at the OPA?
18. So that's a substantial number.
Substantial number indeed. How will this impact operations?
Major, because the 3 unclassified are the 3 top individuals in this office. But on the advice of Civil Service Commission, I was told that before I release the probationary employees, I should release the unclassified employees first. And so I just released them all at the same time. I mean, they're not all going to leave today or tomorrow. They'll probably be transitioning out over the next several weeks to allow for the office to continue to operate. But all 5 of them, the total cost of the 5 is about $450,000.
That's the savings.
That's the savings. But with that savings, I also have to take into account rent, my administrative law judges, other fixed costs of the office. So the difference is maybe less than $100,000. What I'm hoping to do early in the next calendar year is see how the office operates with this reduced staff, and maybe announce the opening of one of the 4 positions that the leading edge study had done for the office. I'm not sure where it'd be the manager, the supervisor, or the director, but I would be, well, I'll see if I have enough cash at that point. But right now, I need to not classify any more people, because otherwise a layoff would be more difficult. But while they're probationary and they're unclassified, a layoff would be is easier.
Finally, the response from these 5 employees who have to be let go.
They, as I said, they're consummate professionals. They're accountants. They know how to count. They knew that when the auditor asked for $400,000 next year, in the budget, that was a considerable amount of money. And they knew that when it was not granted, and it, in fact, was cut by another $120,000, that things had to happen in order for this office be the Office of Public Accountability. A couple of weeks ago, when you guys reported on their consolidated, I'm not consolidated, on the Citizen Center report for the office, you all reported that they had $100,000. They had overspent by $100,000. Now, in these last 2 weeks, I'm afraid that the 2018 report is also going to show that we've overspent probably closer to $200,000 for this year.
Yeah.
And it's my decision as the new public auditor that in 2019 we will not be overspending. We're going to live within the appropriation that's been given to us by the legislature and lead by example, being responsible for the money that's provided to us.